It's time once again for the Maple Grove City Report. Thanks for joining us. I'm Dave Kaiser. Joining me is Heidi Nelson, Maple Grove City Administrator. Welcome again to the program.
Thank you.
We have got a lot to talk about in the next half hour. A 3-hour and 20-minute meeting held recently on the 19th of December, so we'll tell you about that. And a lot, as always, going on in town, so we'll get to those items as well. To the council agenda.
Yes.
First item, very special item, Eric Johnson, one of the council members, stepping off the council.
Yeah.
Give us a little recap of his service to the city and the event.
Yes, so prior to the council meeting, we had a gathering in the lobby of City Hall, but from about 6:30 to 7:30, just a reception to thank Eric for his service and opportunity for members of the boards and commissions, staff, and the community to come in and say thank you. So that was a nice event, well attended. Eric's history of service with the city, he served as a police officer with the city from 1993 to 2005, and then most recently served on the city council for the past 8 years. In between that time, he also served on the planning commission, was involved with some of our other boards and commissions. So just an opportunity to say thank you to Councilmember Johnson as he leaves the city council for his service and dedication to the community.
Congratulations to him and best of luck.
Yep.
Moving ahead on the agenda, and you're going to hear this a couple times through the agenda, legislative items are being talked about. You had some special guests at the meeting. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so as we prepare to head into the 2017 session here, we asked a number of the organizations that we're involved with that do legislative work on behalf of cities to come in and talk a little bit about their priorities for the session and what they see coming ahead. So we had the Municipal Legislative Commission, Patrick Hines with that organization there, as well as North Metro Mayors Association. Troy Olson and Jill Brown were there on behalf of those organizations. MLC is an organization, Municipal Legislative Commission, that's made up of some of the larger suburban cities in the metro area. So they represent interests that are specifically focused on larger metropolitan suburban communities. So they focus on, maybe some different aspects of the local government aid programs or fiscal disparities. Clearly have some priorities around transportation, that kind of a thing. So they shared with that. There is a legislative breakfast for the MLC coming up that'll be held in Plymouth on January 20th, where our city council has an opportunity to go and interact with some of our local, with the legislators from the area there to represent those issues. North Metro Mayors, of course, being an organization that represents a number of communities here in the North Metro.
Right.
They have been working on, the 610 project for many years, focused on that, so they continue to help with that, the portion of that needs to be yet completed, but other transportation projects and issues concerning local government aid and that type of a focus. So both came and provided us a little insight as to what they think this 2017 session might look like.
Very good, and more to come. We'll tell you about that in just a few minutes. Let's talk about community development items at the meeting on the 19th, and one was Hy-Vee North. Hy-Vee North, as we are calling it. Tell us a little bit about their presentation and some of the comments that went on.
Yeah, so this was for development stage plan and rezoning, so kind of the last time it'll be formally in front of the council, come back maybe on the consent agenda in January, just kind of formalizing a resolution and whatnot. But this was kind of the last go at it for the city council. I think two areas that got quite a bit of discussion was there is a significant amount of tree removal that will occur on the site, and we always try to focus on replacement on the site. Because of the size of the Hy-Vee development, that really isn't practical on that site, and we think that the trees are, replanting the trees in other areas of the community would probably provide a better outcome.
Okay.
So in this condition, the city would be accepting cash in lieu of that tree replacement, and then we would take those dollars and do other plantings in other areas. So that was something that got quite a bit of discussion as this project moved through the process. The other thing is signage. So they're, of course, located off the new 610 corridor up there at Maple Grove Parkway. So they were interested in a little more height on their signage that would be off 610. The area that they're looking to locate it is a little bit depressed as compared to where the highway elevation is, and so the council was open to increasing that a bit to address those grade differentials. So those were kind of the two main areas of discussion, but project did gain support, and so that'll be moving forward.
So what is the timing now? What are they thinking in their crystal ball as far as getting into the ground and maybe having a store open?
Yeah, I think, and there remains a lot of interest in, well, when are you going to pull the trigger on this south store?
Exactly.
And They don't have a definitive answer, but at the same time, they've said, it's not Hy-Vee's practice to buy real estate, get projects approved, and sit on them. Clearly, there's a lot of holding costs for them to sit and hold this real estate. And so we anticipate that we'll see activity on these sites come spring.
Okay.
Just not sure of the timing yet, but hopefully over the winter months, we'll learn more.
Okay, very good. To a longtime business in the city of Maple Grove, and they're doing a little bit of work here on their building. Schuler Shoes, tell us a little bit about their thoughts in Maple Grove.
Yeah, so Schuler Shoes, of course, located right on Main Street there, just south of the Government Center. They are looking to build a two-story office building where they would house their headquarters, so their office headquarters, as well as move their retail space there. So this would be just directly east of the kind of the fourth corner of Arbor Lake, so the Village project there, the Kelly Dorn project. It would be just to the east of that, kind of where that new entry road is being constructed across from the fountains. So nice addition to the community, some nice office space over there, and then more of an expanded a retail storefront. I think they're trying to make this kind of their flagship store. So a nice addition, and then kind of right behind that there's a significant pond there, so it kind of frames out that corner there for us too.
Very
on
nice.
that part of
And
the
their
project.
timing for this, will they be one of the first buildings to pop out of the ground in that area?
Well, the Kelly Dorn project, they are working on those two commercial buildings on the south side of the site.
Right.
So those are already kind of coming up, but I think they'll get going on this in the spring.
Okay.
Yep.
Very good. And then to the longest discussion of the evening happened with the Spacebox PUD concept plan. And if people wouldn't know where the old IHOP is in the city of Maple Grove, this is the site they're looking at. Give us a little background and again some of the discussion that took about an hour and a half.
Yeah, this was a lengthy one. So this is right at 94 in Weaver Lake, across the parking lot from Applebee's there, just as a point of reference. So, this project came forward to develop a self-storage facility. So the name of the project is Spacebox Maple Grove. There have been a lot of concerns about traffic at that access point there for Applebee's and what was formerly Fuddruckers and then IHOP. And the restaurants have a pretty high parking demand and a high traffic impact.
Right.
So as we considered and looked at potential reuses for this site, I think one of the goals was to, is there an option that reduces the traffic impacts there? That intersection or that stretch of Weaver Lake Road is one of the busiest stretches of road in Maple Grove, and just the congestion there, particularly with Boston Scientific, their workforce traffic that comes out of there at peak times, it can really sort of stack up in that area. So we were kind of open to looking at options that reduce the traffic impacts there. Some of the concerns that were discussed, this was for concept stage plan approval. So this is kind of the first step. Considerable discussion at the Planning Commission level, considerable feedback from the community about this project. So that was all, Planning Commission took all of those comments in. The council received many of those things as well. I think the concerns are mainly around sort of the massing and scale of the building. It is a much bigger structure than what's there today with the old IHOP building.
Right.
Less intense use in that, it's not a full office. It looks like an office building, but nobody works there,
right.
Except for maybe one person. And the traffic impact is pretty low. But a lot of concerns about the scale and massing of the building. The other piece is just how the internal circulation would work from a vehicle perspective on the site. So the council tabled this item. They took some comment from the community there, as well as the developer spoke with them, answered a number of questions. But this will come back probably on the January 17th agenda. Council wanted to take a few moments to do a little bit more review of the 1995 PUD agreement. So that's kind of the governing document from a land use perspective on that site. And then kind of relook at some of the renderings and make sure, is the rendering accurately representing the true size of the structure? Because there was some differing opinions about that. So those are the two things that we'll be working on between now and January 17th when it'll come back at still this concept stage for the council.
Okay. And viewers might be interested to know, is there other of these types of businesses around? And the answer is really no, not in the metro area. Is that correct? They are not a local...
Yeah, not this specific company. We have other self-storage facilities, but not this specific company. So they're kind of new to the market.
All right. We will keep you up to date as it moves to the next meeting. Moving ahead, we actually had a quick pause in the council meeting for another meeting, a HRA meeting. Give us a quick look at that, that was approving the levy for the HRA.
Yeah, so the HRA on an annual basis levies about $150,000 for its various housing programs. So it's consistent with past years. Set the preliminary levy back in September. This was just kind of finalizing that process, and it's kind of part of our ongoing housing program. So no change to that, but setting that final levy for the 2017 tax year.
Very good. And that amount was $150,000.
Correct.
All right, let's move ahead to some of the administrative items and back to the legislature. So let's talk about this again. You have been busy with the council looking at some policies and some priorities for the city, and we've talked about them before, so you probably know what they are, but give us a little recap. What are some of the priorities for Maple Grove?
So the two specific priorities for Maple Grove to work on at the legislature this year are, one is the Trunk Highway 610 completion project. We've talked about the need for about another $45 million in funding to construct the westbound 610 to eastbound 94 ramp movement, and then also the connection out to County Road 30 on the west side. So that's a project we'll continue to move forward, not only on its individual basis, but we want to see a good comprehensive transportation bill come through the legislature this year, funding some of those programs that we might be able to access. Corridors of Commerce has been a big funding mechanism for the 610 corridor, so that's something we would look to, as well as the Transportation Economic Development Program, because there is so much economic development opportunity in the 610 corridor. So that's one of the priorities. The other priority is really back to focusing on the gravel mining area tax increment financing district. As you recall, we made progress in the 2016 session, made it all the way into the tax bill. So we're sort of hoping that maybe there's the opportunity to kind of pick up where we left off with that tax bill language and carry that forward and get that done this year. So basically it deals with some boundary issues that we needed to deal with, as well as gives the city a little bit more authority in terms of how increment can be spent on projects that are focused on workforce development in the city.
Okay, and it sounds like you'll get some input on those items coming up at the January 17th meeting, because you're going to have legislators there and also another group that's talking about legislative items. Give us a preview of January 17th.
So the January 17th meeting, again, shifts to Tuesday because of the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. We've invited State Representative Pepin, State Representative Smith, and then State Senator Warren Limmer to come to the meeting, talk with us a little bit about, there's been a number of changes in terms of leader, both the House and Senate now being Republican controlled, that, what's their prediction for the session and how things might go, what they see as the key priorities for both the House and Senate. So we'll have them in on January 17th. And then kind of the other one last organization that we've invited in would be Metro Cities. And so Metro Cities is an organization that represents communities in the metro area and represents them at the legislature for issues of concern to suburban metropolitan communities. So they'll come and talk with us a little bit about their priorities as well.
Good, and we'll give you some information on that when we meet after January 17th. Other administrative items, a lot in the world of business being talked about, and Carrie Furman was there to give a few presentations. Tell us what's happening in the world of business in Maple Grove.
Yeah, so we have been working on updating the business subsidy policy for the city. Back in October, we had a work session with the council to talk about kind of rolling out the entire economic development program, but the business subsidy policy is certainly a key component of that. So we have been updating that with our financial advisors and legal counsel. Wanted to take it forward to the council for one more review before we schedule a public hearing, which will be at the January 17th meeting. But basically what it does is it sort of streamlines the policy and focuses it on the growth of jobs and industry in Maple Grove. And so if the city were to consider tax increment financing or tax abatement, that it would really be towards those efforts only. And within there, the city has had a past practice of helping kind of affordable housing projects in terms of fees, those types of things. That would continue on. That would continue to be an opportunity for developers to pursue. But the TIF and tax abatement would really be about office and industry and focusing on that job creation in Maple Grove.
Okay, very good. And again, if business leaders in the community are interested, I'm sure they could go to the website or contact Carrie to find out more about that subsidy program.
Absolutely.
Then Carrie stayed up to talk a little bit about some fancy new logos. Tell us about some logos that might be coming out.
Yeah, so part of this was to, part of the overall economic development program was to establish kind of a logo and a tagline for the Maple Grove business community that we could start to use as we communicate about what's happening in Maple Grove from a business perspective. And so we had been working with North Hennepin Community College this fall and through the end of this last semester. They had their students take this on as a project and develop some logo options for us. They've done this for a number of corporations and organizations here in the North Metro. They did a great job. It was kind of fun. We got to go in every few weeks and meet with them and talk with them about what we thought were the priorities to represent in this logo development, and then they kind of came up with a full-fledged plan. So we kind of had narrowed it down to 2 different logos, got some feedback from the council, so now we're going to go back to North Hennepin and kind of finalize that work. But hopefully here in early 2017, we'll kind of start to roll out some of that branding and those communication efforts around that new logo and tagline.
Wonderful. A lot of exciting things happening around business in the city of Maple Grove. So that's your recap of the meeting from the 19th. But as we mentioned up front, a lot of other things happening around town, and one is some openings on boards and commissions. So you're looking for some residents of Maple Grove to step forward and get involved. In what ways are you needing some help?
We have openings on the Lake Quality Commission and the Planning Commission. So great opportunities to get involved. Some of the Lake Quality Commission members actually live on some of the lakes in Maple Grove, but there's other opportunities if you don't live right on the lake, but you have you know, expertise or interest in the area of water quality. That's an opportunity there. And then Planning Commission, of course, great opportunity to kind of shape and guide the development of Maple Grove. Very active Planning Commission. They meet twice a month. We have a lot of development activity going on. As I've mentioned before, you know, these boards and commissions and service there is really an opportunity to kind of get familiar with the city. We see a lot of people come through our boards and commissions and become city council members. We just talked about Eric Johnson, you know, kind of taking that path as well. So it's a great opportunity to get involved and give back to your community. And so if you have an interest, the dates are, all the information is available on the city website, and then the dates to submit an application are coming up here towards the end of the month of December.
Very good. So if you're watching this early, act quickly on that. And there's always information on the city's website about the commissions and other openings that might be there. Let's talk about the holidays, some things that are happening around town related to the holidays, some closings, changing of schedules, and also some great ways to get involved. First, Toys for Tots. You are helping out in that cause?
Yeah, so toys were collected at several different locations around city facilities over the month of kind of between Thanksgiving and the middle of the month here of December. The police department did deliver all those toys to Care 11 last week, and I don't know if you caught some of the
big parade of cars.
The big parade on coverage. They kind of had a law enforcement night, but really a great way for the department to kind of come together and provide, you know, those to that program, Toys for Tots, at this time of the year. The other piece that they just recently did last week was Shop with a Cop. So that's a great program that they do in partnership with Walmart. Walmart provides, I think it's around $2,500, $3,000 contribution to that. That gives an opportunity for kids to come and they get to go shop with the cop, and then they go back to the community center, wrap the presents, have some pizza. It's just a great opportunity for our officers to kind of connect with the community.
Fantastic. Couple dates to keep in mind here related to things being closed or schedules being changed. Tell us about some of the things around the holidays.
So City Hall will be closed, Government Center will be closed, city offices in general on Monday, December 26th in observance of the Christmas holiday, and then also on Monday, January 2 for the New Year's holiday. So just with those holidays in January, both city council meetings shift to the Tuesdays that week.
And for bus service, for dial-a-ride or people that normally take the bus, just beware, there might be a few changes.
Yeah, so no dial-a-ride in Maple Grove on Monday, December 26th or Monday, January 2 because of the holidays. And then with regard to Maple Grove Transit service, the bus service, regular service on Friday, December 23rd, but reduced service on Monday, the 26th, as most companies are observing that day as a holiday. So if you visit maplegrovetransit.org. All of the schedule information is there in detail.
Very good. And as we're taping this program, it is a few days before Christmas, so if you're waiting on your Christmas shopping, we think we can help you out by going to the community center, right?
Yeah. So we still have gift cards available. Make great gifts, stocking stuffers for the kids. Great things, can come swimming, come skating, go to the Maple Maze, all the different activities that are available at the community center.
All right, so stop by and pick up those cards. Let's talk outdoor ice, and this is always one of those that we always have something to complain about the weather, and the ice people have loved it when it got so cold, but now it's a little warmer. So first of all, just the outdoor ice program and the volume of places you have. This is something that's very important to Maple Grove Park and Rec.
Yeah, so we have a number of outdoor skating rinks available to the community. There's like 8 rinks that are for hockey and pleasure, and then another 3 or 4 that are just kind of the neighborhood rinks that don't have hockey at them. And they get heavily used. You know, this is a popular thing. So yeah, when it got super cold this past week, it was great because they, you know, everybody we can make ice. This is going to be great. And now, even though it's been nice to be out and about this week, now that it's been in the 30s and sunny, that doesn't bode well for the outdoor ice. So we're kind of back to the ice isn't so good anymore. So they'll keep focused on it and keep trying to, you know, keep it alive, and then hopefully we'll get a little bit more cold weather to keep it going. Some extended hours of operation during Monday through Friday. They're there 4 to 8:30. Saturdays noon to 6. This is where the attendants are there, and then Sundays 1 to 6. So some extended hours here and there during the holiday season, so you can kind of check online for the hours, but lots of rinks to take advantage of out in the community.
And many options. There's some that have lights and shelters, some that don't. So again, go to the website to find out which one's which. So if it's that cold day, you know, you go to the one with the shelter there. If you go late, go to the one with lights there. We've talked about utility billing a few times. Give us an update on that process and what people can be looking for in Maple Grove.
Yeah, so when you get your new, your current utility bill, you'll notice there's communication in there about needing to sign up for a new online bill payment service if you want to do that online service. So what we've contracted with a new company to provide kind of that bill presentment and then the online payment system. The goal, and I think, you know, we've seen a lot of people signing up, and it seems to be going pretty well, but it's supposed to, you know, help make it a little bit more streamlined, a little more efficient. Finance has been working on this for quite a while. So information available on our website, but when you get that bill, however it comes to you, you'll find some information there about how to sign up.
Okay, very good. Indoor Farmers Market, we've talked about it throughout this indoor season. The next date is January 12th, and again, this is something that you're hoping people in the new year decide to go there on a regular basis. Yeah,
so this is, and it's lovely inside the community center there, kind of in the big common area back by the Maple Maze and the senior center. Over 20 vendors are there each week with seasonal items, so they have meat, cheese, eggs, bread, baked goods, and much more, and even some produce throughout the winter. There's live music, free recipes, and of course all the shopper reward programs are there like there in the summer as well. So open from 3 to 6 inside the community center, second Thursday of the month from January through May. So now we start into that winter schedule here in January.
All right, and then summer will be here before we know it, so we'll be back outside soon. Police reserves. The city is seeking some police reserves. Why is this an important element to the city, and how can people get involved?
So the Police Reserve Program is really an important program. It's made up of volunteers who serve the community, and we utilize our police reserves at special events, celebrations, and various activities that go on in Maple Grove. They help with traffic control, crowd control, those kinds of things, just providing sort of general public safety services. It's a great opportunity for people to volunteer and give back. They kind of get to be part of the department, but kind of do it on their terms a little bit when they're available. Must be 18 years of age, and there is an interview process, background check, and then applications are available on our website, and the deadline to apply January 15th. So if anyone has an interest, and you know, even if you're just maybe thinking about getting into the law enforcement field too. This is a great way to kind of take a sneak peek into that. You get to work with some of our CSOs and our officers and have that interaction. So you get to know kind of the work that they do on a daily basis as well.
Wonderful program throughout the area.
Yep.
Let's head back outside. We talked about skating on the outdoor rinks can be iffy at times, but it's not iffy at the Central Park Loop.
No.
So tell us about what's going on there and the opportunities there.
Yeah, not iffy at all. It's a sure thing. So we do have the skate loop up and operating. There's the fireplaces inside, and the concessions are available in the Pheno Pavilion. Skating is free. We do have skate rental there for $6 a pair. So the hours are more in the evenings and during the week, during the normal schedule. During the holidays here, we kind of follow the District 279 winter break schedule. So from December 23rd to January 2, it'll be open from 10 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. So it's just a lovely setting to go out and skate, and I guarantee you it will be busy over the holiday weeks here.
There'll be a few skaters out there.
Yes.
Earlier in the program, we talked a lot about business. Carrie Furman, again, making some presentations to the council.
Yep.
And there's a program she's talking about as well, is called Open to Business. Tell us a little bit about that program and how people can get involved.
So this is another program that we're rolling out in January. They will be in the Government Center the second Tuesday of every month from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And it's, like you mentioned, the Open to Business program. And what it is it provides current and prospective businesses that might want to come in and get some help with reviewing their business plan, talking about some of the challenges or opportunities that they're facing. They can also identify where they might be able to get financing for a business. So this is really focused on whether you're a resident of Maple Grove or you're an existing business in Maple Grove or a prospective business in Maple Grove. And the best thing, it's free.
Yes.
So you come in. We'd like you to make an appointment if you can. They'd like to know you're coming so that maybe you can send some information ahead of time to them so they can make the most of your time when you're there. But this is in part of our effort just to kind of work on that small economic development. So really focused on our entrepreneurs in the community. We've had a number of folks, residents that have opened businesses in other communities or residents from other communities that have opened businesses here who have tapped into this program. It's a great resource. So if it's something you're thinking about, this is a great place to start and get some really good feedback about what you're thinking for your business plan.
Very good. And again, it is free. Information on the website and also at the Government Center. If you're watching this again early on in its airing, you want to act quickly for the New Year's Eve event. This is a big event at the Community Center. Give us a little look inside that event.
So this is, of course, on New Year's Eve from 6 to 10 p.m. The evening features dancing, inflatables, crafts, ice skating, the Maple Maze, indoor playground is open, swimming, and then they do the big balloon drop countdown at 9:45 p.m. So cost is $9 per person. That's if you buy it in advance, $12 at the door. And then the community center will close at 4 p.m. on December 31st, so they have kind of some special preparations that they need to do. So kind of clear everybody out, get ready for the party, and then open the doors at 6 p.m. So just a great family-friendly event. Wraps up early, so you can be home tucked in bed by midnight.
Perfect.
Or go home for your the other celebration on TV or whatnot. So we think there's still tickets available.
We think so, yeah.
You
so
could
call and check.
give a call up to the community center and they'll let you know.
Very good. Final note we want to touch on, and we touched on this in our last program, our time together, was the FEMA disaster registration. Again, because of all the rain we had back in September, some damage done in not only Maple Grove, Brooklyn Park, and there's a site that people can get some help.
Yeah, so we talked a little bit about how Maple Grove became eligible through, FEMA really works with counties, so they were working with Hennepin County. And even though the amount of damage that was experienced in Maple Grove was somewhat, or in Hennepin County, I should say, was somewhat limited to the Maple Grove, Brooklyn Park areas, we were able to kind of tap into down in the Waseca area. There was widespread damage in that county, and so just on a population basis, Hennepin County was kind of able to tag along with that. So our residents here in Maple Grove are able to contact FEMA, let them know about the damage that they had, file a claim, and they can do that in a number of ways. They can do that by a website, a phone number. There is the storefront office at 8600 Zane Avenue North in Brooklyn Park. It's kind of the old library site
Right.
there. And so they can either go in person or call, go online. But the deadline is the end of January. We really encourage people to go in and apply. That's the only way to be considered for some assistance. And we do know that a number of our residents have already seen their claims reviewed, and what we understand is that they've already received some compensation for some of their damage. So it is a real opportunity, and again, the deadline, the last day to apply is January 30th, and there's information on the website about what information you need to bring with to file a claim.
All right, speaking of that website, let's show it to you right now as we quickly close the program. It is maplegrovemn.gov. The next council meeting is on Tuesday, January 3rd. Viewer response line 533-1710 if you have questions or comments for the program. For Heidi Nelson, I'm Dave Kaiser. Thanks for joining us on the Maple Grove City Report.